The Minnesota State Management and Budget Office today announcing its 2022-2023 budget forecast, coming in at a stunning $17.6 billion. A lot of different groups and state leaders are indicating what they'd like to see done with that money. After failing to push through his so-called Walz checks last session, Governor Walz is already calling for part of that surplus to be sent directly back to Minnesotans, saying in part the case for sending money back to Minnesotans to help with rising costs has never been stronger. Together, the governor says we can have a golden opportunity to do that. Meantime, a number of labor unions responding to today's forecast. The president of Education Minnesota is calling the surplus a chance to give students more time with their educators, healthy learning environments, and access to a sufficient number of professional educators of all kinds. And the Laborers International Union of North America's chapter in Minnesota says the money should go to repairing the state's crumbling infrastructure, calling current infrastructure an increasing threat to the health and safety of people and the prosperity of Minnesota. ABC 6 News reporter Emily Pofall joins us now in studio with more on that surplus and the reaction it's bringing tonight. Hi, Emily.
James, after what some are calling a disappointing spending year last session, many industries saying they desperately need state funding, groups like childcare and long-term care workers, and affordable housing advocates.
The House is adjourned. Sine die.
When the Minnesota legislature adjourned in May without spending much of a $9.25 billion surplus, workers like Karen Swenson were left struggling.
Low wages, no benefits.
She's the executive director at Meadow Park Childcare.
We're doing this and we shouldn't have to be a martyr. I've been here for 30 years. I have very little retirement.
Now, Swenson sees opportunity in the forecasted $17.6 billion surplus. She needs more employees, her entire crew working overtime while only making $14 to $17 an hour. Child care advocates are looking for expanded child care assistance for families, this and better wages and benefits for workers. Affordable housing advocates also weighing in. According to a 2021 report by the Minnesota Housing Partnership, Southeast Minnesota renters are getting less income despite rent prices going up.
Of all the state's budget annually every year, less than 1% is spent on housing. And we think that that is inadequate.
Minnesota Housing Partnership is asking for $2 billion of the state's budget to go towards building and maintaining affordable housing options. These local agencies are asking for one-time spending and long-term investment. But some Minnesota Republicans maintain most of this money needs to go right back to taxpayers.
We've just taken too much money from the taxpayers. We need to give it back to them.
Republican Senator Carla Nelson supports certain tax credits to help struggling industries like childcare.
Targeted tax relief to middle-class Minnesotans, to affordable housing, to property tax relief.
So, Emily, it does sound like there are some similarities between how some Republicans and Democrats want to see this money go back to Minnesotans in the form of either, direct payments or property tax or some sort of tax relief. But I would imagine inflation plays a role in some of this, doesn't it?
James, that's right. The governor and the budget commissioner both saying today that inflation is the big caveat here. You could expect this number to look quite different once you factor in that 7.7 inflation rate. Inflation rate, because of state law, isn't factored into this report that came out today.
Okay, we'll have to wait and see how that changes. Emily, thank you so much.